Q&A 2021. Hello and welcome to this year's Q&A. Last week I put up a video asking people to ask me questions so I could do another Q&A video after a fairly successful one last year. So let's just get on with it. We seem to have got a few questions, so let's go straight to it. First question is from Genesis of Androzani, who wants to know what would be the deal breaker to get me to watch and review series 11 and 12. In the immortal words of Dr. Evil, $1 million. No, seriously, I'm sorry, I'm not watching them. I'm not reviewing them. I'm just not interested. It's 4 years nearly since I gave up on New Who. I'm very happy with that decision. I have not regretted it. I have not second guessed it. And honestly, I'm a much happier fan having given up on New Who. You know, I'm happy to watch Classic Who. I'm happy to buy the Blu-rays and buy the animations. And honestly, unless I'm in a particular yen to watch Karen Gillan, which, you know, fair enough, it does happen sometimes, I'm pretty happy just exclusively being a classic fan now. And I'm not watching something that I know I'm going to hate just for the sake of bashing it. I just don't want to do that. I know there are some channels that do that and do that very successfully. I'm just not interested in doing that. Honestly, watching New Who from like 2012 onwards was an exercise in masochism most of the time. But most of that time I was doing it in the hope that it was going to get better and that I would like it. I think after 2017 there's really no doubt that I'm not going to like it. So why subject yourself to that? You know, I don't want to be a negative channel. I don't want to be a bashing channel. I mean, this is supposed to be a positive channel. I know I've done negative reviews, and that's fine. You know, I mean, when I started doing reviews, I did the season by seasons, and because at that point, 2016, I had seen most of New Who to that point, I kind of felt obligated to review the New Who's, and unfortunately, a lot of those, you know, they're going to be negative because, you know, I didn't really like it. But I don't want to be, you know, a bashing channel, and I'm certainly not hate watching something just for the sake of slagging it off every week. That's not really what I want to do. You know, I'm, you know, I mean, maybe I'd be more popular if I did, but I would honestly I'd rather do a review on like a 40-year-old TV show like Secret Army or some relatively obscure mid-2000s Aussie teen show like Wicked Science, if I can be positive and enthusiastic about it, rather than watching something just for the sake of slagging it off. So I'm sorry, there is no way I'm watching it. It's not going to happen. He also has a second question. Have you ever been tempted to revisit and reappraise Doctor Who that you don't like? Whether it be a story, character, or even series or era? And if not, would you do it as a challenge and maybe even a video series? Well, yeah, I mean, I often have. I mean, I often have in the past. I mean, I don't think, you know, prior to 2017, I don't think there's anything I've not at least tried to rewatch and revisit and reappraise. Even from, like, New Who. I mean, I even gave a second try to the likes of Journey's End and Death in Heaven. I didn't make it through the whole episode, but I tried. You know, I gave it a second go. I tried. And I mean, I've often rewatched like classic Who stories that I don't particularly like. I don't rewatch them as often as the ones I do like. But I mean, stuff like Resurrection of the Daleks or Kinder or, you know, Reign of Morbius. I've often watched them again to try and like them, you know, to try and reappraise them and get something out of them because I love classic Who. So yeah, I have done that. I probably still will. I mean, I'll probably in another few years I'll probably watch Morbius again, or Kinder again, or Resurrection again, I probably still won't like them, but I'll probably try. Okay, next question is from Time for Teletubbies, who says, if you had the chance to write a story of Doctor Who with your favourite Doctor companion, etc., what would it be called? What would be the plot, guest cast, etc.? Didn't you ask me that last year? I think somebody asked me that last year. I'm fairly sure it was you. Like I said last year, I'd probably write a Tom and Lala story, probably a gothic horror with werewolves in it. Now, as for any more in-depth details, I don't know. I always liked the title from the song Werewolves of London. I've always liked that, so that could be a title. You'd have to call it The Werewolves of London, obviously, because that makes it a bit more classic Who, doesn't it? Putting the on. What would be the plot? I don't know. Well, four-parter. Okay, there's an idea. Not the Werewolves of London. How about we do a secret army and we make it the Werewolves of Brussels, set in Nazi-occupied Brussels, and there's werewolves. There's actually werewolves in amongst the Nazis and in amongst the resistance. Guest cast, I don't know. Michael Sheard. You have to have Michael Sheard in the, the Clifford Rose role. The head Nazi. You have to have Michael Sheard in there. Next question is from Kieran Geeney, who, by the way, deserves a round of applause, because if it wasn't for Kieran, who I know from another site, I would not have gotten hold of last year all of the Neighbours 2004 season, and of course all of the original Sky and Lana stuff. So that helped make my year last year. That helped me make me very happy last year. And of course, I've also included lots and lots of clips of those on various multi-fandom vids, and I would not have been able to do that. And there's another YouTuber, hello Nikamon, if you're listening to this, you should give this guy a round of applause too, because you wouldn't have them either if it wasn't for him. Kieran wants to know, am I buying the Sons and Daughters DVDs? Well, I've bought the first one. I haven't bought the second one as yet. Honestly, I kind of started watching it and I was enjoying it, and then it kind of hit a boring patch, and I've kind of drifted off and I haven't yet gone back to it. I probably will. I should. And I know I should buy the second one because, I'll probably regret it if they go out of print, and I haven't. But they're freaking expensive. They're $150 a time. That's a lot to fork out when you're not even currently watching it at the moment. It was at the point where David and Patricia were about to have an affair. I was just kind of finding it a bit more at that point. One thing I have noticed watching it again, especially the 1982 season, the first season, I've always preferred the Hamiltons to the Palmers, especially Patricia and Wayne and Gordon. Good God, this time I found the Palmers really boring. They're really boring. I'm surprised by how unlikable I found David this time as well. Good God, he's childish and selfish, and one of those people who, just makes everybody miserable if he's in a bad mood and not getting his own way. I really found him quite punchable this time. So, yeah, part of me is kind of waiting to see whether or not they're actually going to release them all, because there's nothing worse than buying a show and then not ending up with it. I really hope they're going to get to like the 1985 season, because that's my favourite season. But yeah, honestly, I'm not that keen on the Palmers this time around. They're really very dull. I think the first time I found the Palmers interesting was when Lee came in it, and I liked the second Susan as well, which is unusual because I usually hate recasts. Fucking recasts. But yeah, anyway. Next question is from Mark McCambridge, Oh God! Will you bring back the robot voice for a one-off video? uh, um, Short answer: probably not. Long answer: probably a few reasons why not. First reason, quite simply, you would not believe the amount of whinging that I've had over the years about the robot voice. You had people going, "Why is it a robot voice? What's wrong with your own voice?" Oh, I stopped watching the moment I heard the robot. It's like, oh God. I mean, I still get those comments occasionally on the older ones. It kind of gets annoying after a while, and I just don't want that anymore. But there are other reasons why I'm not going to bring back the robot voice. I mean, for one thing, it just feels like it ran its course. I don't really like once something's done, it's done. I don't really like going back. Honestly, because there's a difference. I mean, I hope people have noticed that there's a difference between me doing this like this and the persona of the robot voice, because the reason for that was because when I first started, I did a couple of videos with the robot voice. They were a bit boring. They were a bit bland because the robot voice is kind of monotonous. And the only reason I kind of stuck with it and got it to work was by kind of adopting this sort of in-your-face, fuck you persona, which, it was very much a exaggerated caricature. I mean, it's not that those aren't my opinions, of course they were, but I would not normally express them in quite such a vociferous and savage way. And and that worked. It was funny for a while, but I mean, I think it probably ran its course, and certainly, I think I probably could have ditched it sooner than I did. I mean, certainly after 2017, after I ditched New Who and I'd done all the New Who reviews of the seasons, and I did like the Moffat era review and all the rest of it. After that, it kind of seemed a bit unnecessary, to be honest with you, because I mostly do positive reviews. I mean, I never intended to be a bashing channel. Like I said, I felt obligated to do the New Who season reviews up to a certain point, and there's not many nice things that I could say about, series 2, 7, 8, and 9, at least. And at least try to make them humorous, if only for myself. But when you kind of have that in-your-face attitude, it just kind of seemed a bit unnecessary after a while, because I'm mainly making positive videos. I mean, I don't want to make negative videos. I don't want this to be a bashing channel. This is a channel for me to make videos about, stuff that I love. Either make music videos about them or talk about them, hopefully interestingly and passionately. Now, I mean, I get the need to, it's okay to do a rant video occasionally if it's something new that's kind of just really ticked you off. We all need to have a rant occasionally. It's therapeutic. But after a certain point, it just seemed kind of unnecessary. And honestly, there's another reason, and an even more compelling one, why I don't use the robot voice anymore. It's because it may not seem like it, but it's actually harder work to use the robot voice, because obviously it's text to speech. You have to have text. And I mean, to do a 10-minute video with the robot voice, you basically have to write 1,000, 1,200 word review. And I mean, so any longer than that, you're talking like 2,000 word reviews to get a 15-minute video or 20-minute video. And that's a lot of work. And I mean, I write for work anyway, and the last few years my workload's actually gone up, which is a good thing, because obviously I get paid more. But the last thing I feel like doing when I finish work is sitting down and writing another 2,000 word essay for a hobby, for fun. I mean, that's That's a bit depressing. And one thing I found doing, using the microphone, is that I don't have to do that. I mean, last year, for the most part, I was still doing scripted videos. There were a couple of ones I didn't. The film and TV that scared me one, and the Christmas memories one. But most of them were still scripted. But this year, it's pretty much been the other way around. This year, I basically haven't scripted almost any of them. The only video this year that I've scripted was the Wicked Science Season 2 review. And fortunately, given how long it was, because it was nearly 6,000 words, which is why it's 40 minutes long, it's the longest video I've done yet, I didn't write it all in one day or even the week before I did the vid. I wrote that over a period of 6 months, because I watched the show over a period of 6 months. And after I'd watched an episode, I'd come in and I'd write down a few notes and a few thoughts. And by the time I'd finished the season, it was like 5,000 odd words long. But aside from that, basically every video this year has basically just been off the cuff. Now, if I'm doing like a story by story, then obviously I need to have certain information up. Cast members, etc., transmission dates. Or if I'm doing a season review, like an X-Files season review or something, then I'll have the list of episodes up on Google just to make sure that I get them in the right order and I don't miss any. But otherwise, I'm basically just sitting here and talking kind of off the cuff. And I think it seemed to have worked. I mean, the one that really kind of convinced me that was a good idea was the 2020 overview, which I did at the start of the year. And again, I didn't script that. I had a few notes written down as to what I wanted to talk about, so I didn't forget anything. But I basically just sat down and riffed for half an hour. And not only did I really enjoy doing that, but I actually think it worked really, really well. It's one of my favourite videos. And so, apart from Wicked Science Season 2, since then, I've pretty much been doing that. And I think it's worked well. I mean, I don't know if anybody's noticed any difference. I don't know if anybody prefers it or preferred the more scripted ones. I haven't had anybody even say that they've noticed any difference, so I don't know. But it's a lot more fun for me, honestly. I mean, one of the reasons why I put off buying a microphone, apart from I didn't know if I could get one for a reasonable price. I think when I first looked, all I could see were ones for like $300. Was I didn't know if I'd enjoy doing that, because I'm a bit of an introvert. I'm a bit of a hide my light under a bushel in real life. So I didn't really know if I'd actually like sitting down and talking. As it turns out, I do. I actually get a kick out of it. And it's a lot easier and it's a lot more fun, for me anyway, than having to write a 2,000-word essay. So that's a really long answer to a very simple question. No, I'm probably not. I'm really not bringing the robot voice back. Sorry. I can't believe that anyone wants the robot voice back. Our next question is from Ryan Carrick, who wants to know what my thoughts on the Web of Fear animation. Well, I mean, I don't really have much to say at the moment. It doesn't look particularly great, but it's only one scene and it's a static scene. So it's difficult to, I mean, I can't slag it off straight off just based on that. I don't really know. I will buy the Blu-ray. I mean, I'm quite happy to buy it and watch it. I mean, I've been interested in watching Web again this year, but I've been holding off for this special edition with the animation, which seems to have been dragged on for a very long time. I thought we'd have got it sooner than we did, given they announced it last year. But yeah, I'll buy it, and I'll probably talk about it on here when I have seen it. Next question is from Philadelphia Hoovian, a regular commentator to this channel and a very much appreciated one, who says, sorry if you've already seen this or done a video on it. Have I done a video on the movie Clue? No, I have not. I have seen it, but we're talking a really long time ago. I have a vague memory of watching it on BBC One in the UK. And given that it's actually 30 years next month since I emigrated, that shows you how long ago that was. Honestly, I can't remember anything about it. I can't remember whether I liked it or not. I mean, I could get it. It's on my list of Blu-rays to get, because I mean, you can never have too many 80s movies. But aside from that, I really don't know. She also asks, have I ever thought about doing a review for the sitcom Night Court? I've never heard of it. Hang on, let me just check. Night Court. Okay. Okay, it's an American sitcom. Oh, it lasted quite a long time. John Larroquette. I know who John Larroquette is. I've never seen it. I've no idea if it was ever even shown in the UK or Australia. It seems odd if it wasn't, given how long lasting it was. I've never seen it. Is it worth getting? I mean, is it on DVD? I mean, I'm quite happy to get it if it's good. But I've never seen a single episode. Sorry, both of those answers were a little bit boring, weren't they? Fadi Kuri, apologies if I'm not saying that right. Oh Lord, there's 5 questions. First question. If you could choose a season 23 story to watch, which one would it be? Well, that's easy. Terror of the Vervoids, especially the Blu-ray special edition one that makes it a standalone story without being linked to Trial. It's actually pretty good away from the Trial season. It's like an extra Colin Baker story that you don't have to wade through the rest of Trial to enjoy, because I really don't like Trial in general. But Vervoids is pretty fun on its own. Second question, which TARDIS team do you prefer, the season 19 one or the 10th Doctor and Rose? Again, that's a no-brainer, the season 19 one. I mean, I know I take the piss out of the terrible trio, Adric, Tegan and Nyssa sometimes, but I mean, at least it's Peter Davison, and I would still rather watch that than 10 and Rose any day of the week. Sorry, I can't stand them. Third question, would you rather only watch season 17 but without Shardar, or series 5 of New Who? I think it would probably still be season 17, honestly. I mean, as much as I do like series 5, it's certainly my favourite of New Who, and I like early Smithy, and obviously I like Karen. I still think I'd rather watch season 17. I mean, love City of Death, love Naimon. I enjoy most of the other stories. I mean, even Destiny, I think, is underrated. So, and it's classic Who. I mean, series 5 does still have a few of those, New Who things. Yeah, I'm still season 17, I think. Fourth question. Apart from Harry Potter, which Emma Watson movie do you like? Well, I like a few of hers. I mean, I liked Ballet Shoes. I liked The Bling Ring. I liked The Circle. I really liked Beauty and the Beast. If you're asking what my favourite is, that would have to be Perks of Being a Wallflower. I mean, I think that's actually a really, really great movie. I mean, it's one of Emma's strongest performances, but it's a really, really great film on its own terms as well. I mean, yeah, I think I put it first in like a top 20 films of the 2010s vid that I did at the beginning of last year, and I'd still stand by that. I think that's probably, along with the first Harry Potter, that's probably the one that I've seen the most as well. I'm not sure why I've watched the first one more than most of the others. I think it's got a slightly different tone than the rest. It's got a more sort of innocent sense of wonder to it. It's got a vaguely Spielbergian quality to it, 80s Spielberg. That's probably why it appeals to me. Fifth question. Do you mind me asking, oh God, do you believe in God? Oh wow, this is getting a bit heavy, isn't it? For Friday morning. Not really. I mean, I'm not a hardcore, obnoxious atheist or anything. But call me a skeptical agnostic. It would be nice, but then so would a lot of things. And let's just leave it at that. I hope that doesn't offend anybody. Graham Mackay, oh good lord, wants to know my top 10 Doctor Who villains. Bloody hell, man, that's like a video in itself. I don't know. I mean, Look, I'm going to conflate villains with monsters, otherwise this is going to take all day. I don't know. Cybermen in the classic show, Daleks, Yeti, Ice Warriors, Santarans, the Master, especially the Ainley Master, Harrison Chase, Tobias Vaughan, the Weeping Angels. Did I say that? No, I can't remember. Magnus Greel. I think that's 10. And finally, Sally Wagenblatt asks, if I had the choice to retcon horrible New Who in order to give Paul McGann a full series or Sylvester McCoy another series, who would you choose? Well, that's pretty much an easy one for me. I'd get the original season 27 with Sylvester. Easy. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the TV movie. I'm vaguely indifferent to Paul McGann, honestly. I mean, I don't hate him or anything, but I'm vaguely indifferent. And, Sylvester's one of my favourite Doctors. So, yeah, I'd like another series of the 7th Doctor. Not going to happen, of course, but there you go. And I think that's about it. Probably just as well. Oh, wow, we're nearly half an hour. Okay, well, thank you for those questions. Made a lengthy video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you again next week. Bye-bye.